that title's going to trigger a lot of you. I know that title's going to trigger a lot of you, but there are going to be some of you who comment on the video without actually watching the video. So, yeah, that probably means that this video is about you. So if you're just going to get angry by that title and comment, that's fine. What I need to say is that physical media sucks at the moment. And I will tell you why it sucks by the end of this video. But some of you are just going to jump on here and comment and say, how dare you talk sacrilege about my beautiful, beloved physical media? It's the greatest ever. It's great. It's beautiful. I have a reason why I think it's not great at the moment, why I think it sucks. Now, someone like me, I'm a big-time physical media collector. We can all agree, like, everyone's seen my collection. We know how much I've spent on this thing. We know. But why do I think it sucks at the moment? Why am I saying, of all people, it sucks? And I know people have said, oh, you've done this in the past. You're just trying to get the views. You're trying to get the clicks. I get it. You're trying to get the blah from YouTube. No, I truly believe it sucks at the moment. There is a reason why I have not went out in half a year, or maybe even a full year, to JB Hi-Fi to buy the newest DC movies. I haven't even got Superman on Blu-ray yet. I haven't got whatever. I know Constantine was out. I haven't even got that for the DC collection, wherever the DC collection is, down here and somewhere else. Yeah. So there's a lot of things I don't have in the collection because I haven't went to JB Hi-Fi. I'm not actively running out buying this stuff anymore. But why is that? Why do I think it sucks at the moment? Well, at a certain point, Blu-ray companies, especially like the Criterions and stuff like that, they just started flooding the market. And they just started going like, oh, we'll make a deal. I think they put Scream Factory or something in JB Hi-Fi now. I think there's certain releases of things coming to JB Hi-Fi, although they'll be picked up locally by like an Umbrella or something. But there's still basically the Scream Factory release. And like the Criterions and stuff like that. So we are getting releases of those, but in Australia. And in a way, it floods the market. I mean, part of getting a Blu-ray and a 4K is a physical representation of something you love. Now, I do want to buy that Superman movie. I do want to add it to the collection. But I do know that Blu-ray is going to be a phone-in job. It's going to be kind of like, oh, just chuck some special features on there and it'll be done. Who cares? I want an experience. I want to remember the old days of the DVD and even Blu-ray, where you'd put in the Blu-ray, they'd give you an experience. There'd be sub-options there, you know. Some of us can remember early Simpsons releases, and they would hide things in the menus, you know. Early, not this one exactly, but like early Simpsons release. Even look at that, like the shiny cover. Look at that. Now, there are people out there doing this. There are companies out there trying to make physical media cool again. And it has lost its cool in so many ways. Like, you know, having steelbooks now is kind of like standard. It's kind of like Disney don't even release things like Loki in a standard release anymore. It's always, let's just release it as a steelbook because we can get more money for a steelbook. So it's become the standard. It's become normal. It's no longer like a collector like must have whatever. It's the given. It's, oh, I expect this now because that's the way the industries went. That's what everyone collects. That's what we care about. And also, companies know they can make a lot more stupid money by releasing it like that. So why does physical media suck at the moment? I think it comes down to a lot of things. The effort is not there anymore. And yes, while streaming has completely eliminated a need for physical media, and I mean, we talk about the bit rates and stuff like that. Yes, if you're watching through a Netflix or something, you're not going to get the best bit rates. But we've seen year after year a rise in piracy. And what I'm talking about is people can pirate this stuff now and have just the equivalent of the Blu-ray basically for free. And if they have like a Disney Plus or a HBO Max or whatever, then essentially they're paying for that streaming service. The company is getting money, so they do feel obligated that they're okay to do that. They do want to watch in their own preferred method. So when I think of Blu-ray, it needs to fight. And it's not fighting at the moment. It's not fighting to exist. It's not fighting to care enough. It's trying to appease the most hardcore of the hardcore collectors, which, given I'm one of the most hardcore of the hardcore, or was, before I stopped going into JB Hi-Fi. But when they're doing multiples of every release now, like what, they're Taylor Swift? Like, come on. It's not like, you know, it's not like, they're not Taylor Swift. They don't need to release 4 of each different release. Just have one standard release, have one steelbook, and maybe have a very nice, like, in between, you know, like the Thor thing. I really loved that everyone went for the Steelbook with Thor. This one has a standard release in it, but I like that they did something in between. It's like it's got the standard release in there, but it's got a nice box that goes over the top, like a slip cover. So it was very nice. I enjoyed having this one. This is the one I went for over the Steelbook because I liked that not a lot of people would buy this one. But see, that takes effort. That took effort to make that because it's an in-between. It's not necessarily a Steelbook. It's not a standard release. So it was kind of a bit of effort. So that's what I appreciated. But see, a lot of you are going to see that title and say, how dare you say physical media sucks? And that's another problem with it at the moment. The community around it is enabling all of this stuff. If we go out and run out and buy every single 4K release that they put out with the most phoned-in effort possible, therein lies the problem. They know they can cash in on our addiction, essentially, you know. We've got an addiction, you know. The addiction is that we collect. We will run out and buy Super Mario Brothers when it's just released. We're not going to wait for a sale. If we need it right there and then, we're going to buy it right there and then. If we need to import stuff like The Mandalorian, for example, we're going to go out and pay $100 and something to get The Mandalorian. You know, there's a lot of that sort of stuff going on. They know that they can cash in on what we do. They know that they can cash in on, we will problem buy. We will go out and get that little bit of dopamine. And yes, money is, you know, money is a thing that, you know, if you're spending it, you can afford it, so on. I think with physical media, we are at a point now where we've really got to stop as collectors accepting everything. We've got to be picky with our releases. If they phone it in and we know that it's got the compromised audio or A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1 second. Where is A Nightmare on Elm Street? Give me 2 seconds here. They're releasing the box set of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And you know what they've been saying? They're going to put it all in the same box like where is it here? Give me 2 seconds again. I don't keep going off camera. I probably should have arranged this ahead of time, but you know how Unplugged goes. They're talking about doing a similar thing like this for the 4K when it comes out later. They're talking about putting it all in one case. And I've seen people say, oh, I'm not enthusiastic about it. I'm still going to buy it, but I'm not enthusiastic about it. Therein lies a problem. You are still going to buy that box set. You are going to say, you know what? Don't agree with it, but I'm still going to give you my hard-earned because I am buying that because it's Nightmare on Elm Street. We need to start saying as collectors, no, I am not going to buy this box set. Do individual releases, and I will buy them individually. That is what forced the hand of Star Trek, because they were doing these box sets at first, and I was one of the collectors who was like, oh, I really want Star Trek. I really want Star Trek. And I was buying these, because I was like, I don't know if we're going to get anything else. I mean, this feels like they're not going to do anything else. And then they did the individual releases, and I was like, you know what? I am going to buy the individual releases. I still have the box sets anyways, but I got the individuals because I like Star Trek, and I like to have each cover to have its own artwork. I like to have the back artwork of it. I like everything. I like the description. I like that stuff, you know? I did the same thing with John Wick, you know? I did the exact same thing with John Wick and other things. I think Star Wars came out in a box set at the same time, so I didn't really have to buy the box set. I just bought the individuals. But with John Wick, for example, when they were doing it, you couldn't get John Wick Volume 1 on standard release because this was out of print at the time. Luckily, it came back in print and I was able to complete the collection that way. So I just bought this first. I bought that one because I was like, you know what? I just need John Wick, and I'm not going to buy a partial set. I'm not going to buy 2 and 3 and 4 when I can't have number 1 there to complete the set, you know? And a lot of things do that now. What will happen is they will release Rocky, for example, right? They will release Rocky right here, the box set right here. And they'll put Rocky 4 in there, four versions of Rocky. And luckily, like this got a re-release with other stuff in there. I think they put Rocky Balboa and everything in it now, so it's now the proper release of Rocky with everything, Rocky 5 and everything. But 1 and 4, we didn't know if we were going to get anything besides this. And this is what I mean. They play off our fear of missing out. And this is why it sucks, because we go out and buy this saying, in good faith, well, if you're not going to give us anything else, fine, okay, we want Rocky. We definitely have waited for Rocky, but they phone it in and they know that they can double dip. And we give into it. We as collectors give into it. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of you will see that title at the beginning of the video and say, oh, physical media sucks. How dare you speak sacrilege about my beloved physical media? And they would have clicked off. They've left at the first minute of the video. We don't care about them. But they're part of the problem because they are going to run into those shops and buy the phoned-in effort, and then they oh, we'll just double dip then, and they'll have to rebuy it again. And then we won't put Rocky Balboa or we won't put Creed in there, we'll do another box set with Creed in it. This is what I mean. I think part of the reason when Bad Boys was at its height, when it was going for $1,000 on eBay, mine's a sealed copy. I could have sold that for well over $100 or something. I could have sold it for $150. I believe it's back down to about $40 now because it's back in print. But see, the reason I didn't sell it was because I wanted this movie. It's a physical representation of a movie I like. And you can say what you will about Will Smith at the moment. I know not everyone loves Will Smith at the moment, but Bad Boys is a different level. I love Bad Boys as a movie. I haven't watched number 3 or 4 though. Bad Boys 1 and 2 were like, for me, my upbringing, But I do have them on Blu-ray. I have number 3 on, number 4 on Blu-ray. I have them all. But see, this is the thing. We as collectors run out and enable this behavior from the companies. We, in a way, condone this behavior from the companies. Double dipping, phone-in efforts. We don't have standards because what's going to happen a lot of times is a company's going to say, oh, you know how we put in the minimal effort on the iTunes version? Let's just take that iTunes version and put it on the Blu-ray because it's there. Let's just use it. I mean, no more effort. If they actually put time and say, let's hide things in the submenu, let's have little games in the submenu that no one can find and they have to figure it out, then it gives a reason for physical media to exist. Not just outside of the superior video quality that everyone says is great. Yes, it is great, but keep in mind that there's a reason why people have gone towards piracy at the moment, and that's going to hurt the industry way more. So, I like a physical representation of movies I like. I even have a physical representation of movies that I might want to watch. Like, I've never watched, what is this one? A Rough Night. I've never watched Rough Night, but it has Scarlett Johansson in it, and that's like, I don't know, it looks alright. Nothing special, but it'll be a good, like, rom-com sort of thing, I'm guessing. There is stuff I buy here where I'm just like here's another example. I could have bought the individuals of Shrek. They weren't released in Australia for some reason, but I went for the box set of Shrek because to import all the individual releases of Shrek, it would have cost me over like $300 or $400 to do, whereas this was, I think, maybe $60 to $100. I don't remember exact amount. But this I bought because I was like, I'm not going to get any better because it's going to cost a stupid amount to get them in individually. And for me, that was alright. But I love Shrek and I wanted the individual releases of Shrek. But it was not made available to me in Australia. And Disney have completely put out of the market in Australia. So that's why I get stuff like Loki imported. That's why I get stuff like Mandalorian imported. Even though I need to watch The Mandalorian through, I got to give it another chance. But do you understand what I'm saying? Physical media sucks because we enable the behavior, and they know they can double dip, and they know they can essentially manipulate the system to where we will buy anything. And we won't know if we're getting another release of A Nightmare on Elm Street. We don't know if we're going to get individual releases of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not running out buying the box set of A Nightmare on Elm Street until I get individual ones. I want individual 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want them in individual cases. So until that comes along, I am not running out buying it. I am standing firm. I have not run out and bought Crocodile Dundee because I believed the encore cut changes too much and I'm not going to buy it. I haven't seen the encore cut, but it sounds like the stuff they changed fundamentally alters the movie. And I don't believe with that. If I'm going to buy a copy, I want an unaltered version of the movie. I want to see it how I want to see it. Now they'll say, oh, but it's an encore cut. It's a new cut. Why would you want an old cut? Because the old cut is the part I'm nostalgic for. That's the one I want to watch. And that's what I mean. We have got so complacent in this thing of like being physical media collectors. We know they'll give us what we want. We know they'll give us A Nightmare on Elm Street. We know we're getting A Nightmare on Elm Street, the box set, every movie. But it's going to be in this. And we're okay with it because we're going to buy it. I'm not. But I'm waiting for the individuals. When they do individuals, I'm going to do the same thing I did with Star Trek. I'm not going to have the box set, though. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to have all the individuals. Same with Star Wars. I could have had the box set of Star Wars. The box set goes for a stupid amount now. But I like to say, you know what? I just want to have... I want to have Revenge of the Sith. I want to have that ready to go. I want to have the representation of the movie on the back. I want Anakin walking into the Jedi Temple right there. I want to reminisce about, the video shop days. You wouldn't buy a box set at the video shop days. I want to reminisce, And that's why it sucks. I'm not saying as a concept it sucks. I'm saying where it stands currently it sucks. And that's why I have not went to JB Hi-Fi in a year, because not because JB Hi-Fi is a bad store. Also, JB Hi-Fi is pulling out of physical media at the moment for a lot of stores, so I'm kind of like, meh, why would I put in the effort if they're not putting in the effort? They're clearing out physical media. But at this time, I'm also like, I'm just a bit over giving my money over to companies that show they don't care about earning that money, you know? Put in the effort. Yeah, they're putting it on a disc, no worries, but the disc is usually outsourced to somewhere else. They're putting out movies, but they're giving them minimal effort with those movies. And I just think that's a problem. I just think that's a inherent problem with the entire industry. And I think as physical media collectors, we need to be smartened up to this behavior. We need to be smartened up and say, you know what? We know we're getting a Nightmare on Elm Street, but is there a way to do, like, I know people do petitions and stuff like that. If they don't do individual releases, make it known that there is a market there that, like, join a wait list. Say, you know what? We are going to wait for the individual releases, and make it known to Warner Brothers or whatever. We want, or is it New Line Cinema, which is Warner Brothers? Make it known to them that, hey, we want the individual releases. We have a market of 50,000 people waiting for the individual releases. Yes, this will still sell 20,000 or whatever it is, maybe millions. It'll probably sell millions, but there is a market over here, 500,000 strong, that are waiting for the individual releases, and each of those is an individual sale, so, they could make a lot more yield. But, put in the effort, put in the slipcover. Make them a steelbook if you must, but effort sells. People buy things to collect. Especially when you do a limited edition, people will say, you know what? I know we got a standard release of Dawn of the Dead now, but I like my box set. I like this one that has every edition. I don't have to go anywhere else. I do have the Argento cut, the zombie one over there, but the Argento cut is in here as well. I do like this version. I do like it very much. I like that it's got little books in there. I like that it's got everything. I like that version, and I'm like, you know what? That is worth my hard-earned money. We've got to be smart enough as collectors. And I feel like we constantly say this is the best we're going to get because we don't even know when physical media is going to go away. We keep hearing from all these podcasters, what is it called? Like, Sony's pulling out of Blu-ray production and all these things. So it's like fear of missing out, but also the fear that, Blu-ray might go away and maybe they go out of print. Bad Boys went out of print for the longest time. Disney isn't even releasing in Australia anymore, so if I don't import right now, who's to say that Disney doesn't pull out in America and then there's no more Disney physical media? There is all this stuff that leads to us being problematic collectors. And yes, physical media does suck in my view because we constantly enable this behavior of we will pay for the most minimal of minimal efforts. And we need to stop it because it's not a good look for us as collectors. If Taylor Swift started saying, oh yeah, I'm not even gonna put different artwork on each cover, I'm just gonna change the color, boom, 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 not even change anything. She has different artworks for each thing, I think, each vinyl. I think Sabrina Carpenter does it too. She has different artworks on each cover, so you want to collect it 4 times because there are a different artwork, there is a different experience to be had. But yes, the album inside there is one album, but see, that's why people would collect it. But also, she's not completely phoning it in. She's like, I'm getting a different experience. There might be a different book inside. There might be a different artwork, a different sort of disc style to it, or vinyl style. So there is a different experience every time. With Blu-ray, it's basically copy-paste. And it's become that, and we've become okay with it. That's why it sucks. I know a lot of people are just going to comment and be like, oh, whatever. But yeah, tell me what you think. I'm just going, and yeah, that's being unplugged for this week. Controversy, yay!